Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big up the man mentioned in the host, my boy. I don't know. A good brother.
Listen, big up the whole of the chatterbox school. You don't know Sid. You don't know Soapy.
Yeah, man.
You
Yeah,
don't
man.
know. Big up Kwame too.
Yeah. I was just getting us earlier, man. I
Yeah,
got to
man.
thank Kwame for making this connect, man. Like I tell you before, me and you, cross paths numerous times during
Yeah.
my musical career and your outstanding musical career. And but we never really had that conversation. So I glad we get to do it on this platform.
Yeah, man. Respect.
Respect,
Respect.
brother. Respect. So how let me start with this. How you dealing with the corona and so?
Just like you gotta follow man, just like everything else, you know what I mean? But for most of it still sometimes, you know what I mean, we got to make the best out of the worst situations. And sometimes like these times is a time to like reflect. That's how often we get to be locked down for 24 hours. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? And be able to reflect, be able to spend time with family and do the things then that we wouldn't really normally be able to do, in
Exactly.
normal times. So you take good from the bad still and you embrace the time still, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
man.
like I give thanks to the most like that's always important still.
Yeah, man. Respect that. Respect that for
Embrace pray a
sure.
lot still.
Respect that for sure. Like I see how you play on the virtual live. That was wicked. Great performance.
Respect.
Yeah,
I mean that
man.
was
Yeah, man.
that was a different experience.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Not
yeah.
having a physical audience, so to speak, to
Hmm.
really, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, still, you know what I mean? It's entertainment.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not there physically, but they're listening and they're watching.
Yeah,
So
man. Yeah, man.
it was always important to really go out and just give out the best.
For sure, for sure.
You know?
The funny thing about virtual is like they in there, but they in a bigger crowd actually, guys around the world. You check? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. But as far as you know, this how we gonna start this conversation. What introduced you to music and made you want to be a singer?
I could count on probably a number of things. I think for one, family has always been musical oriented, especially my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you find I used to be around him a lot as a youth. You know what I mean? When Austin car, you might know what the Austin, but that was a brand of car a long time ago. You had your A track, and you know what I mean? Enough times they don't get licks for mashing up A tracks, because you know what's going on with them, but you play like music like Jim Reeves and
Mm-hmm.
um, Motown was the thing back in the day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because Motown set that platform for really black entertainers to really like the history about that. So
Yeah.
I used to listen a lot of Motown through him. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of Jim Reeves, Four Tops, Gladys Knight and the Prince. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of introduced me to music in a sense. But then where we from too?
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a very musical place as in that too.
Very,
So I
very.
mean, like you get up in the morning, you got to listen morning devotion, which was
Mm-hmm.
gospel, but you know what I mean, into some form of music.
Yeah.
Then you had your steel band, then you had your country and western. All these things were started the local programming,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and the
Mm-hmm.
broadcasting radio station. So I mean, I embrace that from youth. Um, this is how far I've gone
Yeah, man.
from
Yeah,
that
man.
embrace thing. So then there's some of the things really still. I mean,
Got you.
different
Got you.
from that. You, I mean, back in the times, we wasn't really exposed to entertainment like this. Like I
Mm-hmm.
remember, like ZZ used to show this thing called I think it's American Top 20, Casey
Mm-hmm.
Kasem.
Casey Kadum.
That's
Yeah.
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 So that's something I used to watch as a youth still. You know what I mean? And you
Got
look
you.
at the artistry and you look at singers and performers and you get a little spike from here and there and
Mm-hmm.
a little motivation from this. So it ain't just one genre of music I
Yeah.
came up listening to. So
Got you. Got you. So where was the first time like you actually get to showcase that you are a singer or you are someone who want to aspire to be a singer?
Mm, to be honest, in the show. I mean, you could attest to this. How much of us sing in the show? I mean, like that's something that we do from smaller issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, for
So I
sure,
mean, like,
for sure.
but differently. I was a church guy, so you had to embrace singing.
Yeah, yeah,
When you go to church, you wasn't going to church for the study, you wasn't going to church for the show. You had
yeah.
to, yeah, you had to, yeah. So I
Had
mean, you
to.
had to. Actively a part of groups like scouts, you know what I mean, drum corps, when you have little shows and pageantries where, you know what I mean, your family is your own entertainment. So things like that from a youth, you've been connected with. So I
Yeah,
can't really say like it's a band, it's the platform because I started from so long, even though
yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't as big, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
It's always a part of, you know what I mean? But I would say obviously um, my real push in terms of the music and singing and the experience obviously started with my voice.
Yeah, but
You know what I
true,
mean?
true. I know like a few people who know you, like Kitch. Me and Kitch is
Yeah, man.
good buddy for years and years. And Kitch
Yeah.
tell me, and me and Kitch haven't spoken about this recently, but throughout the years, he tell me that in high school or some point during school, you used to be just you have a crowd around you and you just yeah. So
um, that like I said, like you're amongst your peers. So I
mm,
mean, being amongst your peers, you're comfortable. You're doing it, but you still ain't taking it too serious. You still ain't taking yourself too serious, guys. It's something that you have a passion for, but sometimes it's just a while for you. You know what I mean? If there isn't anybody around to really like guide you, you know what I mean? It will just be a passion.
got you, got you.
And those times, it was just a passion and something that you love to do. It wasn't a business aspect towards it. It was just something that you love.
Yeah, just a
You know
free
what I
up,
mean?
just a
Just
free up.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
a free spirit, so to speak. So, I mean, like, yeah, in school, that was my thing.
Yeah,
You know
man.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. Yeah, man.
As youths, like that was almost everybody in my time. Like, thing like music was a big part of our generation coming up.
Got
You
you.
know what I mean?
Got you.
And the bands and Calypsonians was a big influence on us as youths as well. So I
Yeah.
mean, like I could remember like even a start back at primary school, like when you go back to school, from the school term from December going into January, when you go back to school, the first thing you do in break time is you farm in a line and whatever was that popular road man song. You understand? So you bring that whole reenactment of Jove and back and so it's
Yeah.
all that is where it stem from still.
Got you.
It's so
Got you.
far
Got
back,
you.
you know what I mean?
Got you. So, what was your first official band? Because from what I understand, you was in a band prior to Sugar Band, prior to New Vibes.
Yeah. We had a little group still, consisted of a guy named Brian Fo. I think he resides right now over in Washington, if I'm not mistaken. Um, had Pelican,
Till again. Okay.
in Decent, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
He's still here in St. Kitts, he's still around. We had Laston Percival, which was an ex-singer in the
Okay.
group. He's a policeman, wasn't here yet. A small group. Um, like I say, it was just basically the learning curve. We never really go to that level where we had gigs. You understand what I'm saying? So that basically was the training ground for me, basically.
Got you.
So
Got
I
you.
was in school still, obviously. So, practice for me was only on a Saturday. When I say going elsewhere, but going practice. So, so I mean, like, they had a Calypsonian called Mighty Shango. I don't know if you might have heard of him.
Yeah.
Living in
Yeah.
the village area.
Mighty
Shango.
Shango. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah. He had a friend, obviously, Shabu, guitarist for Grandmasters. renowned guitarist for years. Great
Very good
guitarist.
guitarist. Yeah, man.
So Shabo and him was basically good friends. He had some, small equipment there, speakers and amps. So basically, that's where we used to basically practice.
Okay.
Shabo was a part of a big band, so I mean, obviously he couldn't be a part of the group, but he used to come in on the practices, and that was a big move for us because having somebody that experienced their could mold you, you know what I mean, and all the other musicians and tell them by this card you have, you're supposed to be playing with a certain, level of conviction. You're supposed to ease off here.
Yeah.
So I think like Shabo, we might not have been a part of New Vibes. A part of at the time the band was called Ironics.
Ironics. Okay.
Voice. So I mean, so he was also instrumental in somewhat of the growth.
Yeah.
And so big up Shabo.
Big up Shabo, man. Yo, music is a circle. Because I show people they know that he had some type of yeah. They're telling you,
people
man.
People only probably remember probably the recent clashes with Grandmasters and New Vibes.
Exactly.
They probably wouldn't not even remember, but probably didn't even know. So,
didn't know.
So I'm glad that Chatterbox being about this forum. So to spread some light on these things.
Yo, it's awesome, man. It's a lot of unknown, and just because it's so much happened and it's so much years, so it's hard for people to understand how much it takes to get to where you are now. People only see this, you know what I mean? Exactly. So this is I don't know if you see the videos, but people talk about their career, man. But we ain't gonna get to that. We keep on you. So ironic. So then I hear like at some point the man come and talk to you and say, yo, we need mention in New Vibes. How that conversation went down?
Actually, different from music, I love for sports. I'm a sports fanatic. So
Got you.
Sports and music is my thing. I used to play ball a lot, basketball a lot. And well, at that time, they weren't band members, but all of us those guys were like two farms ahead of me. And, you go on the basketball court and sometimes, Al Williams, which
rest in peace, Al.
Rest in peace. He basically was the one that approached me in that sense. Because like we used to play ball a lot, basically living in the same area, living in Palm City, live King Street, which was close. And after he moved from Pick Up Your Alley, so it was very close in relation in terms of where we lived. So we used to go on the court a lot more often. Sometimes we got on the court. He was already, like I said, started with New Vibes. Steve used to be on the court too. Majority of those guys. But he's the one who really approached me and asked me, like, you wouldn't really like to join the band. Well, for me, honestly, I might have been a hard road because prior to that, just being that young and being in school, my parents wasn't really about that band thing.
Yeah.
So, in something I could have really taken upon myself and said, I'm going in a band. Like, them times you ain't own yourself. Back how how it was in those times still. You ain't own yourself. So, I had to abide. So, even though just the thought, or me joining New Vibes was like, this could be an opportunity. It wasn't something I was really like about because I'm not the other part of back home and how we're gonna explain it, how we're gonna break it down, how we're gonna influence them until the match. This is something it's not gonna work. So for me, it was a kind of bittersweet. So I actually went. I think it was December. 89.
89, wow.
Actually, we had a bass player Used to play with Ironics as well, called Alger,
Algae, yeah. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So basically, me and him basically came from Ironics to New Orleans. Same night.
Wow.
So that was the whole transition of the band. Before that, obviously they started out with four different musicians. They had a different bassman and guitarist. Nigel Gipsy Bosso was the guitarist.
Yeah, man.
And Curtis Francis, you don't know the man Humpadick.
Yeah.
Big up Humpadick in Anguilla, you don't know. Pilot.
Yeah, man.
Francis.
Wicked bass.
Wicked bass player. So, that was the transition then, before I came in. So me and Alger basically made a transition from Ironics to Novels that December of 89. And that's where it really started. For me, it started, but it didn't really start, because I can tell you this. We practice every day, basically. When I tell you every day, we practice from Sunday to Sunday. We practiced on a Sunday.
Wow.
And I had to balance, obviously, schoolwork. I had to balance, obviously, my chores at home. Because remember, as big as you still got chores home.
Yeah, man.
That's a part of how we was wired as kids coming up still in regeneration still, you know what I mean?
Yep. West Indian household.
A lot more grounded still. So you had to balance all those things. Now for me, in order for me to balance this, remember I'm doing all this balance, but remember I ain't tell you yet how I end up in the band, because me had to start up to my fiance.
Yeah.
So in the band basically for a whole year.
What?
We practice sacrificially every day. Still gotta do homework, still gotta do SBAs. You understand what I'm saying? And balance that. And did a recording. First song I wrote. Come out on the road. I ain't even know how I was gonna do it, but I don't know how I was gonna catch anyway. So it's only that December when we came out and had no choice but to go and sing is when I looked down and saw my grandfather. And like, my eyes bulge open and he looked up and his eyes bulge open the same thing. It was like, what? It's like I didn't, like, my heart was just throbbing after that, because it was like, yo, this is pure trouble now. I gonna get you out definitely, because he was a great man, but he was tough. I mean, love him, but he was tough. No?
Yeah.
That was a part of probably his qualities as a youth coming up. So I really didn't know how to deal with it. But this is how I dealt with it. I came in after. You walk in the house, everybody's silent. Everybody quiet, and it's like he's sitting in the front too. So I don't know what happened, but it ain't play out like how you imagine it. Like as soon as you come in, like, what the hell? It play out like that. It was like, good afternoon. I'm just like, good afternoon. Stern, good afternoon. And then like you're standing up there waiting to hear what happened, and he ain't watching you, he just watching the TV. It's like a horror movie. You just wanted that little musical in between, like it was like a horror movie, but I advanced to my room, obviously not knowing basically you're balancing the ramifications in your mind, but not really knowing to what extent.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're uneasy. I said, something I was wrong. So the only way to really get over this is to prove to him what he always wanted to see in me, which is a level of maturity and responsibility. So the idea was, even though it was scary for me, was to approach him. I basically approached him and said, Dad, my grandfather was. And, I really apologize for, basically going behind your back and doing whatever, doing whatever. But I tell him at the end of the day, I find this one thing that keeps me grounded. Yeah, this one thing. This one thing that keeps me committed. And it's hard to find certain things in a youth life at those times where he's committed to, because there's so much things around him, so much distraction.
Show him off trail, yeah.
Show you off trail. If you could find that one thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And I mean, all those things, you ain't had no gangs, but you had things still happening.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So he wasn't on the negative. And the eyes go up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where basically, tell me like, I got to basically be more responsible in terms of, the decisions that I make. He understands with my passion, but that's a conversation that we should have, which I understood.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I was true, I was honest, and I still basically tell him that I would like to continue, even though I know it wasn't his notion. Yeah. So I think like that level of maturity at that age and being able to meet him on that level, which is the expectation as he as a youth still. I think that's what I was able to overcome that and be able to still be in the band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From third farm.
Wow. 89, you're saying? 89, brother. Yeah. So now you walk in this band, and well, a year done gone now, and you don't now you secure in the band as far as home and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So how it was like dealing with, because you said the first band you was with, it was more like, your stepping stool into the life of a band. And then now you into a band where y'all have a vision of being a professional band at some point. So how it was dealing with man like, the man them who was in the band who already had a vision, and then you coming in now trying to help push this vision forward. Like how that felt, like a lot of pressure, or it was just more like everybody learning?
It was not a lot of pressure because the fact that those guys asked me to be a part of that part of being accepted, what I mean, wasn't a question.
Mm-hmm.
What was different now was the learning experience. We had a manager, Elvis. He was a former member of Elemental Jazz Brass, trumpet player, the trumpet. I think he resides right in Yamaha, Public Connecticut. I used to. He really set the tone. Like when I tell you set the tone, like we practice literally 7 days a week for a whole year until I could remember. They used to have to say that New Vibes is the most practiced band in St. Kitts by one of the other bigger bands, so to speak. So that was a little joke on us, but my underlying joke was practice make perfect.
Yeah, man.
You understand what I'm saying? And we might not have had that experience, but to be driven enough to practice 7 days a week, you're on a level now where you have that experience and now you can feel confident in yourself. Not only in yourself, but as a unit, going forward and projecting your music and your production. You know what I mean? So that's something that we embraced, you know what I mean? But it was tough because I could remember times we practicing, and back in those times we used to do what we call band house lives.
Of course,
So,
yeah.
we're going you're in a gig, so So basically, you see how long we're doing virtual?
Yeah.
No
Telling you.
audience, but you
I
create
tell.
your audience. You understand? And you go out there and you do your band house live.
Mm.
You're calling names of different passes around, like
Like they're there.
Passy, Vintage Passy, St. Paul's Passy, Sandy Point Passy, all over, and nobody there. So you just create it
Tell me.
virtually. So,
Yeah.
virtually nothing new to us.
Got you.
Yeah, it's all like that. But we used to do band house live and, you give out copies, you circulate and, certain, like, small band owners, entrepreneurs who hear, be like, by this young band song, they will, I would like to hear the band. They will go to Elvis, and Elvis will tell them, they ain't ready yet. Obviously, when you're practicing for a whole year, right? And you get none of the gigs yet for because say you ain't ready yet. And I think it's something that was frustrating at times, but then sometimes when you go out and you have a shot coming, and you realize that shot coming was because of the fact that you weren't prepared, whether it's mentally, physically, you know what I mean? It played back in your mind store. All the things that he was telling you, basically in a managerial scheme, in terms of how to set you to be at the next level. But obviously, the next thing is that we're young.
Yeah.
We still have to factor in that age factor. You understand? So we're young. And I think after we start to embrace, because when you go out now and you meet that challenge, and you're not always supposed to be knowing what it takes, and you feel, when you come back now and you reflect on the fact that, hey, I wasn't supposed to be tired before I got into this gig, so I run out to go. I didn't take enough rest. I didn't drink enough water. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't take care of me short in the week to make me prepared. All these little things is things that he was preparing us.
Got you.
Some of the things you will take for granted, obviously as a youth. And when you go out, you will find cracks within your performance. You got to resort to the fact that, hey, this is thing that he tell you about. So afterwards, we start to understand and we start to embrace. And then afterwards, we get a bigger picture. Hey, probably if he wasn't as tough on us, we probably wouldn't have been in the place we are today. Because he instilled that. And I think that's a big part of why I take the music so serious, and certain people might not understand when it comes to the music. And between those the 4 lines and 5 back spaces, like, is a serious thing.
Gotcha.
Like, I mean, different from the music itself. When you're into music, you can't take away, like, especially when you're playing in a group, you gotta be serious. When somebody is gonna come and pick up the guitar and come there and be a part of this, you don't know what sacrifices they are making in their lives to be there.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? So all of that there in the whole balance of music, because music gives you a lot of life teachings, like for me personally. When you reflect on music, you reflect on a lot of things, like you see happening in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And big up to Elvis, like I said, like he
really
instill a lot of.
Yeah, we hear Elvis used to put the pressure, boy. I say Elvis used to turn off the light in practice and
turn off the light in practice. So, I mean, if you're playing a guitar, your bass, and you fret, you'll have to fret, guys.
If you know your fret, you're fretting. Yeah, man. So how, like, I know you said you did a year and then you did that recording the song. You record a song. What song was that?
That song I think was my first soca. That's been so long, right?
Yeah, I understand. But
when we did that song, that first soca, it was a real experience even in the studio, because it's the first time even like being in a real studio. So the whole scope of that was a real experience. We recorded at Toucan Studios at the time, Asian Lamb. I could remember one or two of those recordings. We even had to go back, because back in those days, there's just a room. You really had no booth in the room.
Yeah.
So we got home and we playing recording. We hear this phone in the background. So, we had to go back over and, do it all over again.
Got you.
Something like that. But
and that was the first time you ever record? Like, that was your first time ever recording?
Yeah, first time ever recording.
Got you.
First recordings was done there. Mama Don't Cry, all those tracks were recorded at the Asian studio.
Got you. So how was that experience, as far as like after you done that recording and then listening back, and because everybody, and I know you've been in this a long time, so when you listen back to a song you record, you're like, man, I should have do this, I should have do that, I should have do this. Like, what was the thought process after that?
I think it's the same thought process fast forward up to today. Anytime you go back and listen to anything that you do, how it's going to do it better.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, like, it was heartwarming. I mean, your first track, and it was accepted well, not only by outside, but from my whole bearing. Before it needs an audience, once within the unity, what I mean, that put that production together, it's all good with. Everything else could fly. You know what I mean? Because it starts there.
Got you.
It starts there.
And like I tell you before, one of the main questions people always talk about with you is your process of writing. So I ain't gonna hold up the people, because I know the people want to hear. So how did the process you at now, because obviously probably change over the years, I got, you tweak it, but the process you start at, how did you come up with that, or if there's a process at all, like it's just a vibe?
Well, for me, I don't think like the songwriting thing, like I didn't just come up and be a songwriter. I think for me, what kind of helped me a lot in terms of my songwriting ability came from probably in the tender age in school, like writing poems. I used to love writing poems. Like maths, you can't see me, but when it comes to English, hello. You know what I mean?
Hello.
Hello. So I mean, like, that was just a natural path, like in terms of writing poems. So you find like I would always write poems, and I realized like from basically like junior high school, I started writing. Like between first and second time, I started actually writing my own songs. Not that they were produced, but writing my own songs in a sense. And one of the things I kind of realized is, like I had a knack like listening to music. I said, when you really gotta listen to a song is really poetry. Because most of it rhymes. Most of it rhymes. So what I started to do now is like write poems, but then you'll have like tracks, even a reggae track. Once ago you got a 12-inch and it come in, and the next day they got a version, instrumental.
Yeah.
So what we'll do now is like probably get certain tracks for different genres, just the instrumental, and then get a poem and create a melody. So you get the poem live. That was my first idea as to how to write a song. Write a poem and then add melody
to it.
To it. Just like how Bob Marley probably did with Selassie's speech. until the philosophy. That's a whole speech
Yeah.
put into a song,
Got
basically.
you.
So
Yep.
that was the whole concept in terms of how it started writing. In terms of my approach, for me as a writer, you listen more than you speak. In a sense, where as a writer you need to understand your audience, your fan base, so to speak, the likes. You understand what I'm saying? The dislikes, so to speak. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you could go out there and write a song. This is how I feel. I don't care who it affects. Socially, but at the same time, you could still put a message out there and tweak it in a way that it offsets that feeling of, you understand what I'm saying? Like somebody might feel oppressed by it in some way, according to the dialogue, according to the message. So it's just a way about how you make your approaches.
Got you.
And like I hear old people say all the time, sometimes ain't what you say, it's how you say it.
How you say it. Yep.
You know, so in each way, it's how you approach, what you want to put over. And just like calypso, what is strong in calypso is delivery. And I take that from the calypso.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you go to over in the park and you listen by it, okay, you got your lyrical content, you got performance. Understand what I'm saying? But delivery is always a big part of your points. The delivery. Because you're talking to people, you're reaching people, so your delivery is very important.
Yep.
So that along with probably some literature classes that I didn't really have in school, but I had some free time. So give thanks to Miss Bradley at the time. Used to let me sit in into a literature class.
Big up Miss Bradley.
Big up Miss Bradley. You know what I mean? Because she see like I really had a hunch for like writing poems and that sort of stuff. And she said, you know, literature will be a big part of your success. So that along with psychology. You know what I mean? Persuasion.
Yeah.
How do I win over my audience? First, I got to know what they like, what they want to hear, what they ain't want to hear to a certain extent. And you meet it in the middle, but you still stay true to yourself.
Got you.
Now that's the important. Now, in being true to yourself, ain't everybody gonna like you. Ain't everybody gonna accept you. But when you're not true to yourself, it's the same dispensation. It's not everybody gonna like you. It's not everybody gonna accept you.
Might as well stay within yourself. Yeah.
Might as well stay within yourself. So
yeah, man.
That's a next part of, you know what I mean, what it basically embraces in terms of the whole package of being a singer-songwriter.
Got you. So like now that you was in New Vibes, we gonna just fast forward just a few years. You doing songs, you building up your repertoire, your catalog, and when did people start to take notice of the band being good?
I think the band, well, in a broad sense, when we started to travel, especially after the Sugar track, People Sugar, and that whole album. I mean, to me, we were already getting there, but that's kind of take us on that different plane in terms of recognition, not just locally but regionally and internationally.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was so heartwarming, like for us coming from Finkits, which is a small island. Yeah. And you know.
Mention may want to cut you off, but I was traveling before that, right?
Yeah, definitely. But you asked me what kind of propel us into that next level. So
okay, got you. Yes,
yeah,
got
obviously, we were traveling before that.
you.
We were traveling before that. You know, But I think like the traveling really expanded after that particular album because we were going like St. Martin, you know, Virgin Garden, Tartola, and Willow. You know what I mean? Those places around the region. But then after the Sugar album, obviously is when we got work permits. We were able to go to St. Thomas, St. Croix, you know what I mean? Atlanta, Miami, Orlando, Canada.
So the Sugar album was because you know, like I say, I interview Steve Steba and Soki, and they said the Sugar album before the Sugar album was a little bit of trial and tribulation. So I just wanted to hear your take on that as far as not personal. I talk about the band, like I had issues on the road and stuff like that. So I wanted to hear your take on that, like
Oh, you mean that same year?
the year prior to, because he said,
Oh,
yeah,
oh yeah. Yeah, we had some problems on the road. I think that same year before too. I think that was when we did the Sugar song. It was basically a chant. It was music festival weekend. They had the Grand Market where they had bands performing. Like if you wasn't on the festival that year, they would have bands perform there every night, leading up to the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. It just so happened that I could remember that same year, like we were getting a lot of thanks from other fans in terms of like what we did on the road, and we were hungry that year. We were real hungry because there was a lot of resentment, a lot of things went wrong on the road, and it just didn't go good. So we had the formidable plan to come back in a strong way, in a more professional way, better song, not only on the road but recording ways. So we try to step up the game in many different ways. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so that's the year I bring Sucky in the band, right? Like the vibe change for you musically on the stage, like because I know Sucky is more energetic than Al. Like how did that vibe? How you know proceeded that vibe?
Well, I could remember not having a bassman, so Steve had at the time used to plug first. Um, and you know, I could remember approaching Sucky and asking him, just like how Al approached me, about, what I mean, being in the band. I could remember we took a drive all over. He was kind of reluctant at first. And I think for him, part of the reluctancy was the fact that being out of 14 minors for a couple of years, not actively being in our type of music. He was playing with Groovy Band, which was a band that used to back Calypsonians, but that was a seasonal. It wasn't like around the clock like how we play festivals and those things. It was just for carnival. So I think he was kind of reluctant, as he expressed though, you know what I mean, about I guess his sharpness, and then he probably looking at our level and probably don't want to come in the group now and feel like he pulling back the band in any way. I'm telling you, man, hey, it's a difference when you can't play and when you're rusty. Rusty, you can knock off. If you can't play, we gotta teach you.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For
So,
sure.
yeah, I could remember it was a Sunday. We had a gig. Tell me and think about it. We had a gig. I think it's over Philippa. Sunday. Sunday afternoon. Don't remember exactly what the event was about. But, Steve Fadder was pulling bass at the time, like I said. I think in a sense he kind of plugged something. in a smart way. So he tell Sucky he want to go use the bathroom. And he give Sucky the bass and he come back. But Sucky had to basically play for the remainder of it. And I think that was after that he felt comfortable in his skin and he was like, "Well, yeah, he could do this." And then that's where it was in the bag after that. It just took off.
Yeah, man. So with the no Sucky there, like what was your? Because I hear that you had one idea of Sugar prior to doing the actual one that we hear. So why change the idea and how different was the idea?
It wasn't much difference, yeah. When I did the song originally, like there was the only thing different in the song now is a stanza of the song that is in now that was not in at all. So all I did was add it. And I think it was a lot of frustration because that Sugar album, I don't even remember how much songs, it's probably 12 or 13 songs. Those times. And short space of time. Recordings was tight. And we were kind of behind because after you record, you gotta mix and master. And you still gotta wait for these things to come from overseas. So, carnival around the corner. And remember the year prior to, like we just explained, it was a bad experience on the road. And we really, really, really wanted to come and, show a better case than we did the previous year. Yeah. So I think the fact that, the album was kind of behind, even though I think the production was, as executed, was good. Just that we were behind. So, nerves, and then everybody itchy, and I could remember, like, I was supposed to go to this A Brown studio to record. And I tell them, man, I'm going to record this song. And then I was like, what is it? Like, I know, I just ain't feeling it. And Steve was like, bye. I think the song good, yeah. Everybody on me, and I feel like a shell. But it's just something was just knocking me, like, you could do something better. Do not record this song like this. Do not record this song like this. And I felt so much pressure, but still felt it was mixed emotion because I felt pressure in terms of like bringing out something that I know inside that I don't think that I wanted to bring out. But at the same time, that balance of like pleasing my bandmates in terms of like doing it in a time frame where it don't keep back the whole process of the album.
Got you. Yeah.
So then again, it was hot and cold for me. But then, imagine, this track sugar. Let us extract 1 pound of sugar, ain't enough pound of sugar, 2 pound of sugar. So let's extract that from the song.
Song mashup. Song ain't no good.
So basically, that stanza is what I added.
Okay.
Before the chorus, to extend it, because I think that from the verse he wanted an extension before we reach the chorus. It was just like it's too quick. It's too quick. He wanted something sobering, something a wailing song that got the people in just before they go into the chorus, something like a pre-chorus, something that they could have sing along, and
it's crazy because that phrase in those lines made that song.
Exactly.
And everybody know that now. So follow your mind, brother. Follow your mind. Yeah, man, for sure. Because I tell you my experience with that song. I had come to St. Kitts for Carnival that same year. And I had a good friend, he passed away, and I was in St. Paul's. When I come St. Kitts, I don't leave St. Paul's. So I in St. Paul's, and he come down the road by my grandmother's house, and he said, he just singing, 1 pound of sugar ain't enough. And I saying, why you singing? Because he was a little disgusting dude, but he was mad cool. And he said, boy, that's New Vibes, new song. I said, New Vibes ain't got no song, so. and I walk off. And he follow me and he went and get a radio and we wait and the song come on. I say, wow, this song sick, brother. And trust me, the song for up to now, you could play that song anywhere. Anywhere. I think that's probably the biggest song ever to come out the Caribbean next to come out St. Kitts Nevis next to maybe Searching because and Searching is only the beat. I talk about songwriting.
Yeah, man.
I don't think no song other than Searching, like I said, but for the beat. You know what I mean? So big up for that song for sure.
I mean, Sugar is a reflection of St. Kitts. We see like that's something I always try to incorporate in the music, like a sense of us, like where you come from, like so like 869 is just like a continuation, an area code is just a continuation of Sugar. It's just different concepts of representing ourselves. You know what I mean? But I always like have us in the background. You know what I mean? When I say in the background, meaning like when we go out there and we showcase ourselves, it must always reflect on where we're from.
Yes, understood.
Because we are fabrics of where we're from. You understand what I'm saying? The Indians call themselves Indians, the Americans call themselves Americans, like Chinese call themselves Chinese, like Kittitians, we got to know that hey, we are Kittitians and gotta be proud of it and stand by it, you know?
Respect, brother. Respect. Solid point. So now we there here with Sugar now and basically y'all swarm the music industry with that song as far as West Indian music. Even so, I can remember the year y'all came. It could have been the same year, the following year y'all came to New York to play at the Apollo in the Soca Awards. That was huge.
Yeah, man, that was nice.
That was huge, brother. And I was the headliner, so like I always I told Steve about that too. I say I always wanted to tell her I respect for that, man. That was huge, brother. Huge.
That's a long time. Memories now. You got back in the memory bank.
As a music historian, brother.
Respect.
Yeah, man. So like after I take off now and I traveling every weekend, multiple times a week, like how the vibes change for you and how you was able to continue writing even though you 100% busy.
Hey, I never stop waiting. That's something that we always like and production always never stop for us. We produce all on the road. So we go, for instance, from New York to I think Jersey, from Jersey to Miami, from Miami to Canada for like 2 weeks, Old Caribbean weekend, back to New York for Labor Day weekend, then straight to St. Thomas. You're talking like, I think it was like 6.5 weeks.
Crazy.
Away from home.
Crazy.
So remember Carnival coming up too. So if you're out there 6.5 weeks, you better do some waiting on it.
Yeah.
You know, ain't like no way you could get you with like a Carnival, you put out 2 or 3 tracks and it's okay. Back in those times, you had to record tracks. Like that is what fans expected. You couldn't bring 5 tracks on a CD and give nobody. It had to be in 12 and 13. I mean, sometimes you see Marshall albums back in those times, like 16 tracks, 22 tracks.
Yeah, man.
So I mean, like that was just how it was back in the day. So we had to do things on the road. So I could remember like if we in like I could remember Caribbean, like we in Canada for like 2.5 weeks. We got gigs. So what we did, like we went with own equipment, went to small elite system, speakers, amps, everything. Had a U-Haul, pack it in the U-Haul. Had a rental space. That's we were on the road basically. We drove from Toronto to Montreal and back. Nice. Each one of us taking rides. I mean, tons driving.
Yeah.
I will tell you how the driving went. We hit a lot of dot patch. Like, I driving behind, right, and seeing like dot patch, like the back of the truck that's going on the dot patch, because I think what happened to, right? We packed the U-Haul and we didn't pack it evenly. And in a box shop, what happens when things ain't packed evenly? The back
Everything just slide, yeah.
So as we driving and all we seen is dust in my face, and it just off track off. But all that was part of the fun experience, though. You know?
Yeah, man.
So everything was done on the road. So if we come back and we reach home and we on the road. So if we out there for 2.5 weeks and we realize like, hey, there's these 2 soca songs that we hearing out there that, you know what I mean? We'll make it a little more relevant because you're out in a different market.
Mm-hmm.
You realize these are the songs that people listen to. Hey, we get in, we go down in the basement, we do our practice, incorporate whatever 2 tracks we're gonna add to the set, and we go out and we play them. So we always, and we go to Antigua for a week for carnival, which included Juve and parade. We do the same thing. I mean, we out there, but we incorporate a lot of the local based music for carnival, the popular songs at that time, and we incorporate them in the set book.
Gotcha.
We always do work on the road. So if Steve got an idea with a rhythm, whatever the case be, and I hear it, which I never used to hear them most of the time. This is how we used to do with Steve. Steve programming with him, and rhythm is something that we used to practice.
Yeah.
We practice music, we practice songs. And I think up to this day, with this present band, I don't know if this is something that is like roll over minutes. But it just roll over into this part of the band too. We don't practice rhythm because like you go in the band house and you put on a rhythm and you practice a chant. How chants came for me was freestyling up to this point. 90% or 99% of the chants that I probably did is freestyling. I don't sit down and write a chant. So you find like the majority of chants that we came up with was Steve programming a rhythm, and I will never hear that rhythm until we in. Probably if I hear it is if we have sound check. Maybe. But that rhythm gonna come in the meat of a session. And I was like, but the beat song with me, I got nothing to put on it, but hey, all is what go because in the moment now, when you're being put on a spot, I think all of that days will motivate me into like being even had that knack to like think quickly, put things into perspective, but still make it make sense.
Got you.
You understand? So
got you. Yeah.
Kudos to Steve too. That was one of the ways that we used to go about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Big up, Steve, partner, my partner. So so now like I traveling a lot and I out of sync. It's like when I come back, you used to get the negative. Oh, I ain't gone and blah blah blah.
Yeah, Ghana. You used to get a lot of negative. All of a sudden I ain't playing in Sinkits now. I ain't a Sinkits band. I ain't a Sinkits band. I ain't belong to us no more. Fast forward now. The band might not be traveling as much. No, the narrative is no, I don't travel.
I don't travel. Yeah. That's how we go, brother. That's how we go.
Damn if you do, damn if you don't. But hey, we're still here. Still putting in works.
Yeah, man. So that year when I I think that was Step Up was the next year, right? After Sugar?
Yeah, Step Up was the next one, man.
Yeah. Step Up. So at that point now, Sugar was your second road match, or how many road match you had done?
Sugar would have been the second.
Second. Yeah. So now Step Up is your third. Like how you do like approach it? Like you do approach it where you writing a song to be road match, or you do approach it where you just writing a song as best as you can?
Back in those days, like I could remember when we got the first 2 road match back to back. There was concerns by some of the other bands. I think they took it to the chairman at the time was, I think it's Woodall Morton, Mr. Morton in the gut. If not, maybe I'm mistaken, but I think it was Mr. Morton. They were saying that they think that a road march is supposed to be carnival oriented. So basically, you can't really just sing a song like Sexy Julie. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be with a girl. It got to be carnival oriented. It got to be around carnival. That was the argument, that the road match that we was getting wasn't carnival oriented.
Red tape again, red tape.
Red tape. You know what I mean? In waiting now, what you had to do now is, like, if you're contending for road match, obviously you had to wait on those facts. That they're looking for something that is more carnival oriented. So that's where you hear a lot of songs like incorporate Juve and Parade and a lot of the power soca from those times. And get up is 4 o'clock and on the road and you know what I mean? So
my favorite song ever, right?
So I'm saying it's like, even though I might not have this one specifically geared for road match, you try to incorporate the carnival essence into all the power soca to give them a chance, so to speak.
Okay. So it's part of the criteria, basically.
Part of the criteria.
Got you. So
at that time.
Yeah, because we see things change, but we're gonna get to that. Yeah. So now that 2006 now is when I decided to do an album for St. Thomas Carnival, right?
Yeah, that was a vibe tour, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it was. I mean, when the thing about it is that when we went to St. Thomas the year prior, I think that was the first time in St. Thomas. We actually had 3 gigs go, I think, which was in the ballpark. I think they had a concert. Had some soca artists from Trinidad and some Jamaican artists. It was like a mixture, some similar to the music festival. We played for that, but then we were supposed to play on the road for Parade Day. It just so happened that the sponsors and the promoters and whatever happened, they didn't get things together to get us on the road. So we basically done St. Thomas. For Carnival, we only played in the like the ballpark. Didn't get to play on the road, which was very, 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 very disappointing, because I mean, you know, so much criticisms live in St. Thomas, like over the years. And so had a sense of St. Kitts band coming down there was everybody under hype, you know what I mean? And even to the locals here wasn't coming, just to know that we're making these breakthroughs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was good for everybody. But it was kind of disheartening not having that year to jam on the road. And what was even more disheartening, I can remember, is like all us standing up when you're coming up around the field, to go around the field. We're standing up. Imagination's past. What are they playing? Sugar. I think it's Pure Passion. At the time was old. Pure Passion pass. What are they playing? Sugar.
Right.
Jam band coming up the road. What jam band chanting Daddy Friday, Sugar. I mean, like, to hear you, and you can be a part of the biggest thing of Yusufat, to be able to put you out there and showcase you. It was disheartening. But the next year, we did get a chance. And that was the first clash that we had with Jam Band on the road, it was crazy. It was crazy, that thing.
Yeah, that clash is, Sucky put up a picture. I ain't got a picture actually right now, but Sucky put up a picture.
I have a picture. But I think that was the second clash.
Oh, that was the second clash. Okay. So tell us about the first clash then.
The first clash. We had, it was kind of mystic. I'll tell you why. I mean, you know how the trailer set up here in St. Kitts, like we pack even. If it's 10 in front, 10 behind, because it's a tractor base. So you got out there now with the 40 footers now, it's a truck. So you know, definitely you cannot stack in front like you stack in the back. You only could stack from roof height.
Yeah.
So they allow us to clash. That's the first time I ever see a policeman telling me, look, I want you and Jamban clash. They're crazy, man. Like, this man is a policeman, like full police riot gear, and telling me, look, I want a clash. I see a clash. Yes.
Hey, you got the accent down good.
You gonna make this? I tell you, the man make way. I see those man here got the shock button them, right? And people back turn here and zzz. Everywhere, like we want this thing together. I was like, this thing ain't happening. Like, what actually happened in that first clash? Like, when they come up and they turn and I was wondering why they're passing us. I wanted to find out, like, they're passing us because they want their back to our front.
Yeah, okay, got you.
That sound coming to we front, and we front only got probably like 6 speakers. So like, you know, it was an imbalance in sound. So like when we drive back now, everything to the back ain't really catching in the front. So that kind of catch us out, yeah. The next thing about it too is like when we're going down there now, like the rivalry started between the fans now. Like, we started to get on the level now where like you hear like Jamban, like your man got this thing now, like Freddy saying like support your own.
Support, yeah. That's a VI thing on a whole. That's a VI thing on a whole, yeah.
But more like when we were there now, like you know what I mean? Like
of
that
course.
was the thing, like so it's like I could remember the first night we played in the village. Jamban had a boat ride. And I could see the boat, Kantiki, right there. And I mean, like, I done tell him, say, "Bye, this is gonna be a small, big guys, Jamban, that boat ride." Like, when I small coming up, like I got family living here. My uncle and my aunt at the time, CVI college, before he became UVI,
yeah.
College of the Virgin Islands. They went there. So actually, my uncle shared the damn room with funk from 17 plus. I couldn't ask for nothing better because 17 plus was my band coming up.
Yeah.
17 plus, then Burning Flames, then Jamban. That's the order. Don't tell me nothing about 17. Like we used to cuss about the all the time. Steve, you know, was a Burning Flames. A lot of guys was Jamban, but my thing was 17. It's just like that combination of funk and fado because of the fact that even though they were VI, the music still wasn't the VI we were hearing from Jamban and
had their own style.
It had their own style. And that's why, like, you know what I mean? Binksy and Joey and all them, man, like, that was my band. I had 17 plus poster on the wall.
Azik.
Yeah, man. Wicked Bassman.
Yeah, man. So like, I see you mention your uncle. I was doing some research and I heard your uncle was a Calypsonian. One of your uncle.
Yeah, one of them. But the one was Shane and not that one.
Okay, got you.
But imagine I used to get 17 plus live just because I had that hookup with my uncle Shane that down with funk. With funk.
Wicked.
Funk gum, so that was a good thing. But back to the clash. The other thing about it too, for us going down there, we realized, like, for me personally, like, I could remember, can't remember off the top of the head what year it was. I think probably would have been 2005 if we went to 2006 with the album, probably between 2005, 2006. And it was a kind of imbalance for me because when we leave from St. Kitts Carnival in December to go to St. Thomas in April, by that time, our songs from Carnival don't kind of one on the people. But then we're going down and actively, like, not really competing with Jamban, but the fact that we're there as a foreign band and we already know that vibe done in the ear.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how could we be competitive with older music when these guys coming out with fresh music around the carnival? You
Mm-hmm.
can't really like knock jam band, the jam band
Mm-hmm.
with music from December as good as they are. Fast
Yeah.
forward into April, Sintomians would have heard them already,
Mm-hmm.
as well as locals living there.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm saying, are residing there. You know what I mean? So I figure by I tell them guys, me ain't about I am, but I ain't gonna do an album for some time. I was like, what are you talking about? I say, I'm gonna do an album for some time. And maybe it was crazy because I mean, coming out to December, we just done do an album. You're thinking like to go put in that kind of work again. I
Mm-hmm.
said, but yeah, we're gonna do it small. We're gonna do a small album. Because I think it was important for our relevancy. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? In April, the heat of St. Thomas County Road with jam band with not only fresh but good music.
Yeah.
Like we can't really compete. So I decided that I'm gonna do an album. So my radio, um, of course, boat riding.
Portrait and
Guys, I mean, I figure I need
big
to,
tune. Big tune.
and that's the next thing. Like I was telling you in terms of songwriting, I needed to
Mm-hmm.
find something now that not only criticians, but you're serving a Tomian based fan base too, because you're going there, you're playing.
Yeah.
The music is being sold. You used to do t-shirts for every yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like just like what we're talking about in terms of the songwriting and in terms of concept,
Mm-hmm.
apart from knowing your audience and knowing what they like. Like for
Got
me,
you.
one of Jam Band's biggest songs I could remember back in the time from a pastime of St. Thomas people was
Hardship.
hardship.
Hardship, yeah.
And we know racetrack is a big thing in the VA.
Huge. Huge.
Huge. I said to myself, what can I come with that could just be on the same level or even close to as a pastime that I could put inside? And then I say, hey, boat riding, yeah? When you see the amount of people pack up on that boat, waiting for a jam band boat ride, that gotta be the next best thing.
Yeah, man.
And then not only that, fast forward to our experience now being in the VI now. I could remember being on the boat ride and they basically had to stop people from coming.
Jesus. Sick.
Like
Sick.
people, at least 300 and something people left on the pier. This one girl. So
Wow.
that's where boat riding, this song boat riding and some of the lyrics came about.
Got you. Got you.
8 o'clock people waiting on the ferry dock, waiting. Yeah, so it's all of that. Is a true essence of our experience when we had those boat rides in St. Thomas.
Got you, brother.
So I
Wicked.
work out by I must be able to put this in song and St. Thomas people could relate to it because it's a part of their culture.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what came up with the concept.
Oh,
And then
okay.
to be controversial because we know jam band fans are hard fans. They had to come to with something controversial. So controversial now was the remix of Rubber Band.
Rubber
Tell
band.
Wednesday, tell Thursday, tell Friday them. You know.
Tell all of them.
Why you get mashed up in that song too? Because he named Thursday, so he.
hey, then what one for me? That was for Friday.
No, man, it's not from you. Thursday, Friday, all of them.
Hey, no, I ain't taking on them what day. Let Friday take on them there. Yeah,
No,
man.
it was always in the whole essence of having a competitive spirit. It was never personal for me because as a man like listen Daddy Friday from my inception in the music. Like I said, I was a 17 fan, but I sing almost every Daddy Friday song. You remember them black and white book we used to learn in school? And you write down every song, even if it's not yours. You had your own songbook with other people's songs. Yeah, I had a whole book with just Friday songs alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, and 17 had this time. What I took from Daddy Friday was being prolific when it came to your lyric content.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you had to got the best voice. you ain't got to got the best melody. You understand what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
your lyrics must be on point
Mm-hmm.
and could reach an audience. And that's something that you could never, ever, ever take away from Daddy Friday.
Gotcha.
Like this man here, like when I listen, like conceptualize how he approached, like putting over something, it was a mystery to me. And I think I took certain ways how he approached, I kind of use within how I approach writing songs today.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. Big Daddy Friday, a big reason, you know what I mean? Why,
For sure.
you know what I mean? I do what I
Yeah.
do today.
Rest in peace, Friday, for sure, man. Legend.
Legend.
So how was like when I didn't know and to see like how the people was responding? Cause you said at one point I leave over 300 people on the dock. So
Yeah.
like, was that shocking to see like even though y'all didn't get the year before y'all didn't get to do what y'all wanted to do, but the year now are here and to see people still here. How was that?
Yeah, but then that's when we know. Well, that's when you know that you're making a breakthrough, and to be in anything, you know what I mean, whether it's music, you know, any other kind of career. I mean, you always make moves to make a breakthrough. I mean, you always want to be taking that next step. You don't want to be at the same level all the time.
No
And
doubt.
I think
No
that they are kind of put it like that. Hey, Sugar Band taking the next step again in a different territory. I could say St. Thomas basically is like the second home up to today. And I gotta big up all the St. Thomas fans them for really like embracing us. You know what I mean? Like not only St. Thomas but the Cushion fans as well too, because we play over in St. Croix a whole lot, St. John's a whole lot. Every year in the village in St. John's, and we had a lot of experiences down here.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And the culture ain't too far from ours. I mean, like how far we are from in a 45-hour flight. You know what I mean? So the music in terms, the only thing that is different with you know, the VI style music is obviously
Yeah, the double kick.
the double foot drum, and we style of rhythm is different. We utilize voices in the drum machine to create, we lead for the rhythm. They move with more percussion, and the bass create more the rhythm.
Yep.
So, but in all, it's all music, and I embrace across the board.
Across the board.
I mean, yeah, man. Because I mean, like when you hear certain songs, I mean, like you could go back into time, like certain songs from like not in jam man alone, but imaginations. Grass used to got something. You know what I mean? When you hear the arrangement, hands, like big up boots. R.I.P. That's the next man. Like, hey,
legend again.
This man, when I listen like certain songs from this man, like I like that song. I love you, love you, love you, love you. When you hear the hand arrangements in that, it's like, yo.
Yeah, man.
It's like you hear like Cool and the Gang. Yeah, like that's the level I used to that man, like like when you hear them man hands like blazing and on point. You know what I mean? So like all of that is what I'm embracing the music too. That's why like most of the music, like in the beginning, used to incorporate so much hands. You know.
So like how like what the conversations used to be like during that time? Because I know that's a tense time. We used to have conversations with Friday or anybody in Jamban. Like
yeah. I mean like I could remember the first time I ever talked to Friday. It was just like a hail. But then when I signed at the food court over in the mall.
Yeah.
The mall then Tutu
Mall, okay.
Yeah. So it was he and my big friend DJ Eddie. Yeah, DJ Eddie. He was like DJ Eddie was like a big fan of Friday and Jamban. Like he was one man used to make me. You ain't better than Daddy Friday.
Was?
No, I'm telling you like it still is, but I'm trying to tell you like that you don't know who he is. Like, that's Daddy Friday right there.
Yeah, man.
What I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
man.
I mean like But me and Eddie, like, you know, I mean, through the music still we link up. And like, I mean, that was just musical, it was nothing personal. It is on a different level
Got you,
of
got you.
maturity. So even though he might have like been on me in terms of like, you good, you know, but Friday is the man. I tell him, yo, I never tell you that Friday is the man, yeah, but when I come down, come defend me, I can't come down, come lay down. You
Exactly,
understand? I'm saying this is not a
exactly.
laying down thing, you know what I mean? Like, me ain't going out there come deny that he ain't the man, but me ain't coming out to God and like it's less than a man. You understand what I'm
For
saying? So that is
sure,
the kind of
brother.
conversation that we used to get. It was nothing personal, but if I got a fan base who are out there and they're rooting for me, hey, my thing is to go out there and defend what my fan base defending, which is
Respect.
us at the same time. You know what
I,
I mean?
I,
No matter what territory. You understand what I'm saying? That was just my mindset at that time. No matter
yeah,
what
man.
territory, like bring it, yeah, we sting it.
Yo, somebody just send me a picture of you on the road. I want you to see it. You can see that?
Ain't come up yet.
Hey, come up
Not
here.
yet.
Okay. Hold on, they come in.
Didn't say shit.
I hope my old computer ain't start hack up. Okay. See it now? Yeah, they said that's
Yeah,
2003.
yeah, that's when baggy jeans used to be in. You can't find them now. Everything slim fit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
enough
So,
respect.
yeah, man. Enough respect to I think. Let me tell you who said that. Sorry, brother. I closed down. Let's see who. I'll tell you who sent it. Shanty vibes. Shanty vibes. Sorry.
Shanti, that my boy in Sinclair, man. Big up, Shanti. Big up,
Yeah,
big
man.
up.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man. Like so we in 2006 now, and I on top the game. Everything, I guess like to almost to the highest spot you could be, however.
Mm.
Shit, you went off.
And then,
Hold on. I think I went off. Like,
staying live on Facebook still.
it's ain't live on Facebook, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe it's
Forget
just me
about
went off. All right. So yeah. So everything good on in 2006. Everything blessed.
yeah.
So now the band change up after that, and what was the mindset of creating keeping that new vibe sound and moving on now with new members? Did you have like a plan as who was gonna try to get to fit those spots?
Honestly, no. Um, everything kind of happened sudden. I mean, it's something that I normally go into in terms of the breakup, but everybody know there was a breakup. I mean, I wouldn't go into too much details about the breakup, but
Yeah.
that year was practically a good year for us. I mean, we just won a Caribbean Music Award.
Big.
Just won road match. Just won a band clash, a regional band clash that included Burning Flames. And at that time, that band from the VA that Pumpa used to sing it first. Can't remember the name.
Extortion.
Extortion, yeah. AJ and Alan Willis. Ourselves at that time, Ultrasonics. Searching was big at that time too.
Huge.
So
Yeah.
we did a band clash, a regional band clash. We won that. One road match. So everything was just like there and just ready to take off for the next year. And then it just crashed. You know what I mean? But it was unfortunate to see that something that had so much more potential.
Yeah.
I mean, just like everything else in life, nothing lasts forever. But I will say that it was a premature end to our ride musically. You know what I mean? And it's still an unfortunate situation, but just like everything, when you reflect and you look at Burning Flames, same thing. Jackson 5, same thing. Destiny Child, same thing.
Yep.
I could count a number of groups that went through it. So initially, ain't only New Vibes went through
Exactly.
this. So
exactly.
obviously, simply it's human nature. Sometimes we go, and ain't everybody gonna go in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
Some stem off in a different direction. And to me, like a party, a growth is also stemming in your own direction.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't stem off in your direction in terms of your vision, how are you going? You're going in somebody else's vision.
Got
So
you.
it could be looked at as a bad thing and a negative, but it still could be looked at
Mm-hmm.
as positive. That's what I'm saying. So
Got you.
that's how I take it. But
Yeah.
going forward, I didn't envision any new musicians because I didn't envision the band in this situation anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
As forward, we here. Um, still try to maintain that level of musical ability, execution when it comes to live performances.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Recording still be able to produce songs somewhat with messages, not only party alone, to create that balance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, we have a very important like role as artists and musicians and people in entertainment. I mean, we might look at it as a job, but
Mm-hmm.
when you're really like reaching so many people in terms of what you do, there must always be a unknown positive message behind of it.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're misusing your platform, so to speak. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
like the good book say, all my strings are in there. All singers and players of instruments shall be there. So you gotta understand like the role as a musician and the messages that you convey within your
Mm-hmm.
songs. You know what I mean? And try to be able to create that balance too, because it's important. People
True.
listening to you, kids listening to you, and they're being influenced by your music.
Yeah.
So, we try to create that balance still, you know what I mean, a party, but still be able to put out a message. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely. So like I always wonder like, and I spoke to Chris yesterday. I spoke to numerous people during this interview series. Like I always wonder why Saint Kitts don't take musicianship serious. I just want to hear your take on it because for a band like New Vibes, and you say you've been in this band since '89, and Steve before that. Why isn't there avenue for a band like New Vibes to say, listen, we want to do a cultural exchange with Barbados, and you go to the whatever committee in St. Kitts and they set that up, to show grandmasters, small acts. Why you think they don't take it to that level?
I'm glad that you asked the question because the fact that you said why they don't take it to
Yeah,
that
it's on
level,
them.
it means that somebody is responsible
Mm-hmm.
for that, and we all know that in any setting, in any setting, your government
Yeah.
plays a big part in that, especially when it comes to foreign relations.
Mm-hmm.
All of this is via the foreign exchange in terms of artists because we do have foreign relations with other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So it's supposed to be automatic. Over the years, I see a breakdown in terms of just what you said. Like we'll have cultural exchanges, but the cultural exchange to me should be a band, should be an artist because culture just don't mean bull clown, masquerade, and big drum.
Mm.
We living in a world now where you understand what I'm saying? Those things are they're there, but they still ain't there.
Exactly.
So I mean, to not shed no light on them locally in terms of like there being a part of the society things that we really embrace. But then when we're selling it out, we're selling it out, we're selling it like it's something that we embrace. I think that's an imbalance. And I
Got
think
you.
that bands and artists should get the opportunities just to let those cultural groups to get those exchanges to go out and showcase their talents in whether it's England, whether it's but for
Yeah.
most of it we hear a clown group gone out, a bull troop gone out, a masquerade troop gone out. But you never hear bands, you never hear artists, you never hear a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
and you say it's culture. So my whole thing about it is that would you sell bull clown and masquerade on a music festival platform? No, but you will sell a band. So why not sell the band on the same platform? Okay, if you see,
Exactly.
you know what I mean. So
Exactly.
that's just my take. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. And it's obvious too, like, the people who are in charge, it's obvious that they understand that music has a heavy part in the culture. Because look at it now that politics is heavy right now. 'Cause I have an election coming up. The first thing they grab is entertainment, bands, the DJs, because they know that's what the people are gonna listen to for the
But you
most
got,
part.
but you gotta understand too. Say one, say two. Are musicians, are artists educated enough to know, you know what I mean, exactly what should be done in a certain setting? Because if we don't embrace ourselves as artists and embrace one another in the industry, the bigger heads are not going to embrace us.
True.
So if Sid, you just come up with a single and I as an artist come on Facebook and say, yo, I just listened to Sid track and yo, that's just whack. Yeah, yeah, we record that in the toilet, like we ain't getting nowhere. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of that is what we need to do. We can't really study about the bigger heads. What we need to do is embrace one another as artists. No, one star shining in the sky can't look as pretty as many stars shining at the same time. So what I'm basically saying is like one person from St. Kitts can't really go out and make it happen for us as artists. We have to have a collective effort. We could do it together, each on its own level and own bound. You know what I mean? But to say fight down this person and fight down this band, and you really get old. I mean,
Yeah.
like the band thing to me don't really like relate to me until like it becomes like on the road is carnival and it's revelry. But outside of that, like me ain't gonna time for that. Big man thing. Like
Respect.
people
Yeah.
got people got other things in life going on, like on a serious level than to be arguing about bands and 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 bands. My whole thing about it is that we as bands need to do more for we. When we do more for we, everything else will come because they see a collective effort and they see a unit. Not everybody here and there. Divided we stand, right?
Divided we fall.
Divided, okay. United we stand, sorry, divided we
Yeah,
fall. So I
no
mean,
doubt.
it's the whole thing about it. If the bigger heads really just look and see like, hey, the music industry just a whole circus because we ain't serious because like how much of the bands them like ever say well by it? Like let me do this track together. Small minded because at the end of the day, I can't do a song with you because I got to abuse you on the road December. You know what I mean? So they're gonna take
So
away something from something. So let me just keep it so. But then where are we going? Because if you look at all the other industries around the Caribbean, right? That is what happening.
yeah, big time.
That is exactly what happening. But everybody know here, like if everybody want to be the man, like I see this here happening for such a long time, right? And me see the man yet. So like no, I
No,
mean, so
no.
like, no, like I know we like it want a collective effort, you know what I mean? Like let me stop bashing one another. Music, let me start to embrace one another. Let me start to build one another. Right.
Well, by you saying that dimension, you lead me into my next question because my next question was going to be, um, where where do you see the ability to have, a compilation with a man like Smiley, a man like Mr. Ward, a man like Chubby, like doing songs. It don't have to be on a new Vibes or Sugar Band album. Just throughout the year, do a song with them. Do you see yourself doing that? Is something you want to do?
It's numerous times, and I think I've proven it over the years, like outside of the band, in terms of the amount of artists I don't collaborate with. It shows that I'm open to doing anything that is musically protected. So, I mean, all it takes is a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I've expressed over the years. Like, I'm willing to do music with anybody that's willing to do music with me. So once it's the right setting and the right message. You know what I
Got you.
mean? I
Got you.
always convey that over the years. So, I mean, ain't nothing new. But then public perception and pressure sometimes a thing. Have certain artists buckling.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this because my fans gonna vex with me. But then we as the artists got to set it. You can't always let the fan base lead. Because a lot of the times they lead in the head and not really knowledgeable about the business aspect of the music either.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So at the same point, you know what I mean, we got to be able to balance it. Everything is a balance.
Got
You
you.
give some, you take some.
Got you. Got you. So throughout the years, have you, written songs for other people as not on a New Vice album? I know you have written for like Rush and other songs, but I talk more like outside of New Vibe, because to me, and I show a lot of people, I think if you ain't number one writer down there, you is 1A. You know what I mean? So like,
um,
do you do that?
yeah, I did that a couple of years ago. Back over in Nevis, I think it's 2 tracks. It was kind of short because it was last minute, so
Mhm.
I mean, it was like probably worked them in probably like 2 songs in probably 2 days.
Wow.
They had the music already though.
Okay.
I think that was Ultra Band a couple years ago when they was
Got you. Got
um,
you.
here and there. I mean, for me, writing is a joy. Writing is basically an expression of oneself.
Mhm.
Sometimes not even your experience, but other people experience. Somebody
Mhm.
might share experience with you. You understand what I'm saying? And you'll be able to manifest that and put it into a song and share it as a message still.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, I remember like me and you when we spoke previously. I told you when I first met you, you didn't have dreads yet. You had like basically kind of like a flat top,
Yeah, yeah,
and I remember
yeah.
a couple years after that, you
I
wrote
hope
a
nobody, I
song.
hope, I hope
Huh?
nobody send you. I hope nobody send you a picture of a flat top, right? I
I got a picture, but me ain't gonna put it up.
hey, it's me. I comfortable in my skin all the time still.
Say no
Hey,
more.
really got
I
that.
gonna bring it up. But my question is
Mm,
this. My question
mm,
is this. After I met you, like maybe 2 or 3 years later, it could have been two, it could have been the same years. But after I
mm,
met you, you wrote a song called Mama Don't Cry, man. And it sounded like you were speaking directly to your mother, brother. Was that the approach? I just happened to be like other people experiences as well.
that was an experience that I had. It was a closer experience to a cousin of mine. Um, basically, we were going through it at the same time. You
Hmm.
know, typically, like Rastafarians being looked down upon, especially those times in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s coming up. Like, you know the idea behind Rasta.
Hmm.
You ain't gonna come out to be nothing, you're gonna be nasty, but the whole narrative behind Rasta.
Yep, yep.
Thank God that changed today. But fast forward is like just like everybody, like when I did decide to go me here at that
Mm,
age too, going forward and like really like vibes into the whole setting of Rasta, like reading. My father was a Rasta, so
okay.
I mean certain teachings and like being around elders was basically along the line, like
Mm,
kind of enlighten me and enlighten my vision when it pertained to that liberty. You know what I
hmm.
mean? And I kind of embrace it. Um, I think, like I said, because of the scrutiny and the fight Rasta used to get,
Hmm.
my mother was like, I don't think that's the best thing for you because people will look down on you. To some point, my cousin had it worse. He was thrown out of his house. he had to
Wow.
bunk. Yeah, he had to bunk by me. I mean, my uncle was living at the time. He had to bunk by me
Mm,
weeks. You know what I mean? Because the parents wasn't really allowing him to be back in the house with kids.
wow. Wow.
And you know, most mothers is who really like bargain for something like that. You know what I mean? Nah, I don't know why I go through this tribulation. So in a sense, I was going through it, but not to the extent that my cousin really went through. You know what I mean? So that's what really kind of like bring about the whole idea about opening up to your mother and letting your mother know, hey, mama, don't cry. I know you might not understand. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The reason behind it, the liberty, but then along the lyrics of the song, you show why you live that kind of life. You refer to settings out of the Bible, you refer to why, and understand, saying to bring a certain understanding, and that's how that song came out. So
Yeah,
it
man.
was basically like a real setting as to what I was going through, but to for the extent what my cousin was going through at that time, like being thrown out of his parents' house because of the fact that he was going his dread. So that was really more closer to home than anything else, a self-experience more than just a concept that just came out of your head still.
Got you. So I got a picture for you. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Young
man.
as ever.
Yeah, man. I could remember that, man. Willet's photo studio. I could remember that day. All of us got a pound of powder. You see how we face be?
Telling you.
Pound of powder, yeah. Willet's put on the powder. Make sure that you don't have any. Yeah. Any shine spots coming out in the photo. So a lot of powder, man. They try to put powder. You have to know what this by. But hey, you have to do what you have to do, man.
I need some powder right now. My own shiny. Yeah, man.
Right.
But
give thanks.
yeah, man. Respect, man. I want, you know, no disrespect or whatever, but Stibba sent me that picture. Big up, Stibba. Big up. But
I got a picture too.
Yeah. So let me tell you, man. People always talk about this combination, man. You and Russ Kelly, brother. Like that was like how would you say it, like Friday and Kelly, you know, that type of mix. Like, how was that experience?
Obviously, it was different.
Mm-hmm.
It was different. Kelly got a different style.
Mm-hmm.
No? Obviously, his style is a lot more rhythmic. You know what I mean? So it was different, but it was good. I mean, a lot of people like the balance between like my melodies and lyrics versus his style of programming.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it was different.
Yeah.
It was a different experience.
That was a wicked experience. I mean, I tell you, when first thing, to be honest, when I heard that, I was like, what Kelly I mentioned? Done session. So that's crazy, brother. Yeah. But
I mean, I guess when it come down to it was a kind of mystic way to like mesh the styles, but the styles ain't too far away still. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, a rhythm is a rhythm. I might just program minds different from yours, but in all, they all sound close enough. You understand what I'm saying? In terms of the style. When you hear one VI band, you hear not necessarily the same rhythm.
Yeah.
Style, you know what I mean?
Style. Yep. So you know, where you know Kelly and also Stibba say, like, you know, them I would hear you say certain things like a little this and a little that, but never actually hear the song. Like, why was that?
Me know. For me, I will write a melody, but not write the lyrics, and I will work on this song. Like me and Steve, like I can remember hours, like I talking about coming out the band house 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, just from producing. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? And ain't like nowadays a computer-based project where everything is just like
Yeah.
You're talking about floppy disk. Loading up, you know what I mean? The whole works. You know what I mean? A lot of works, a lot of sacrifices, and a lot of energies went into those recordings. And
Yeah, man.
you know what I mean? I still hold them closer to any of the experiences to date because of the amount of work that we really and the hours that we really had to put into to produce music. And nothing compared up to today, because I mean everything is made easier.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah.
nothing compared to those days up to this day, like what we really had to do, like the sacrifice. Like, I remember hearing, I sure we used to call before the cock them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're like attacking just me and Steve alone, just sit down and just die on for hours and hours and hours. No, don't care how frustrating it is.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? We take a break in the morning and we're back down in the band house for at least 10 o'clock in the morning. Walk again straight down till 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning again.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
I mean, probably all day again it might not be as enjoyable, but when you got your juice and you're doing that what you're passionate about, hey, 10 hours will seem like an hour. Once you got love for something, 10 hours will seem like an hour to you.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't know if I'll be able to do it now.
It's true. Yeah, patience the way thin. The older you get, your patience way thinner, brother.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah,
That's something you probably got to set your mind to still.
For sure.
You know, the mental balance and focus had to be on point back in those times too. Even though you embrace it and you love it, you had to be on top of the game. You know what I mean? Because I mean, when you're working for hours too, your brain getting tired.
Yeah. Yep. No doubt.
I mean? So you still have to stay sharp. It's just like a pilot. You only allow a certain amount of hours of flying.
Yeah.
We used to break that when it comes to producing. You know
For sure.
So, you know what I mean? So, but it was always rewarding the end product. Always rewarding, and it showed over the years how people accepted the music and embraced the music and embraced the band. You know what I mean? Over the years, and still do embrace the band up to this day.
Up to now, yeah.
With the farmer members. You know what I mean? I mean, that's something that you're going I mean, is not today, but it's something that you can't erase. You know what I mean?
No doubt, yeah.
And it's something that I wouldn't like to erase because, I mean, what you want to erase, a part of your past is a part of your building process. It means that at the end of the road, you ain't whole.
Got you.
So, for me, I embrace the good and the bad because the good and the bad is what make you whole.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
no doubt.
You know, there's nothing I could really go back into and say other than how it ended. There's nothing I could go back and say I regret. There's nothing I could go back in that time at the band and say I regret doing. Understand? Because it's been a learning experience.
Yes, sir.
Even if you made a mistake, you were able to expound and build on that mistake. You know what I mean? And make you greater today. So.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, a lot of people like to, you know, try to erase things like, you know, like for instance, just a quick story. Like you got up here in America, like they're getting rid of all these Confederate monuments and all these, you know, racist white monuments and stuff like that. To me personally, I wouldn't get rid of them. It's part of your history. You gotta understand certain things to grow. If you don't understand that these things happen, you most likely to repeat it. You check what I'm saying? So
that is why this kind of monument, because pieces of your history supposed to be monumental to you. And not only that, but monumental to the generation that is coming for them to have an understanding also of the history.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? And we as a people still going forward. Because if you're not reminded about it still, you relax.
Yes.
And find yourself probably 10 years behind. You know what I mean? So it's always a good embrace in terms of a reminder. Not to embrace it in a good way to say, well, yeah, I love what happened to us in a certain situation, but just to know what happened to you in that situation and know, hey, this is a situation that I wouldn't like to be in again.
Exactly, brother. Exactly. So for me now, I think I saw you perform in Soca Monarch once or twice, right?
Once.
Once. Um, what was the experience like, and do you plan to enter again?
The experience was a very bad experience.
Mm,
Very bad experience. Um, some things I wouldn't even go into, but
mm-hmm,
you know, I think a lot of things was done on that night that it just should not happen. Like things like in one of my performances, something came up on the screen that wasn't supposed to come up. So they put the wrong concept of video to the wrong song when they weren't the one who was supposed to play it in the first place.
oh boy.
And then for one of the performances, like the MC and stage manager ain't communicating. Remember, I use three musicians because all of that was in the rules of the competition that you could augment the band with
Mm-hmm,
three musicians. So I bring three of my musicians. Now, when I brought the three musicians, all during the practices and what's not, I hearing things in the ear. I mentioned I had to bring him band, but I'm saying they had other people who also joined the competition who are also aligned with bands
mm-hmm,
who had the opportunity to bring their own musicians to. They decided not to for whatever reason. I
mm-hmm,
decided to do because I felt comfortable with my musicians. Plus, it's
mm-hmm,
December. For us as New Vibes having such a stacked carnival booking schedule, it means now I had to be walking on ice when it relates to my personal band practice and splitting it with my personal endeavor in a competition which has nothing to do with the band.
Ban, yeah.
So I had to see how I could create a balance. To create a balance meant using my musicians. It means now that in times when we don't have our organized practice for soca now, I could organize with them outside of that
Yeah.
because they're available.
Mm-hmm,
So, you know what I mean? If I just did it with just the band at the time, I would have to go on daytime at all times, which
exactly.
would have been at a disadvantage.
Yeah, because
So
you have your
that's
own band. Mm,
yeah. So that's why I decided to take that role. Now they had at least three other people in the competition who could have taken that role, who had backing bands.
mm,
Um, so you hear that negative narrative. And so that there was a kind of thing for me. And then you had commentators actually on ear, basically saying why I had to bring me back because of the change over. Now, this is somebody who know of the criteria. You're a commentator.
mm,
So why are you dispensing it like it's a problem? If it was a problem, I could have never bring three members. I would have been thrown out of the competition anyway.
exactly. Yeah.
Like obviously it was a criteria. So why keep up something if it's something that was set? But because only me alone knew it was a problem. And then that performance get called out by the MC to start the performance. When you look now, my band ain't set up. So imagine the crowd and a hype waiting for my performance and I gotta wait at least 5 minutes still before I come out after I'm announced because my band ain't changed over yet. So no communication between. It was just too much. So I decided not to go into the competition again because that's the problem in singles.
Mm,
Like I'm gonna say it clear and that's the problem in singles. That is why we ain't gonna got Michael Jordan, about Mali, and we're gonna just stay here and sit here because it's like we could never put the best foot forward. You always come with an extension or why somebody ain't like you for something what ain't got nothing to do with something.
exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
we can't grow like that. No, I'm not saying that in hindsight I should have win the competition, I should, but I'm telling you about a lot of my experiences, like from the beginning, even before competition night,
Mm,
that wasn't really the best.
got you.
I mean,
Got you.
so
Uh, With that being said, you think I don't know if you watch, but you think they got better at handling situations like that? No.
No, because if you check it out, when the Soca Monarch started out, it didn't even start as a Soca Monarch. It started as a party monarch.
Party Monarch, I remember that. Yeah.
And I sure one of the first winners was
Smiley, Mr. Wall, one of them, man.
okay, I think a Calypsonian won it already too.
Okay.
Probably Socrates when it was party monarch before
Party
Soca
Monarch.
Monarch.
Got you.
So came into Soca Monarch and the vibe started to build as we see, like especially that year with Nature,
Mm-hmm.
that it started to really like peak. And then you had other popular like bandmen coming into the competition, which boosted it. Bagnall, Kelly,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. World, Smiley. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was the only one who probably wasn't.
Correct.
Ill.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we saw where it took off, and it actually stood on its own wheel. You had an admission. Now, for me, we had a show where could have drawn a crowd, had an interest in people to draw a crowd. We could have actually charged an admission. That would offset, obviously, anything that's going on with whatever committee in charge of the whole Soca Monarch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, money is needed in anything.
Of course.
So, I mean, that would have offset expenses, I'm sure, because it's revenue you're creating. And you create revenue to that because people showcasing themselves still, even though it's just the preliminary stages into going into the finals. When we reach from where you could have an admission to last December, you're having it down in town free. You can't really see the growth in it.
Got you.
No, I'm not inside to know where the shortcomings could be because, like I said, I haven't been in the competition since that time. But just the result of it shows me that you can't be going if you're going to move from a shop that had an admission based set to now it's free.
Yeah, that sounds backwards to me. Sound backwards to me. Yeah.
I mean, you want the artists then to have that sense of, you know what I mean? I mean, you're going up there, I mean, singing for free is okay, but in a competition sense, you want the audience where people come in and actually want to pay to come and see you. You feel worth.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Not just on Bank Street where anybody and their grandmother could come.
Just walk.
You know what I mean? Just walk in and hey, me interested, so going home. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a serious thing because it's people on the stage who make sacrifices and you don't know how long the sacrifices go. You know what I mean?
And like you said, money involved, and they paying for performance and paying for dancers, paying for musicians. Yes, it's no good. It's no good, brother.
I think it really was heading up for some reason. It's a downward spiral. That's just my take. I mean,
got you. Now, we here for your take, brother. That's what we hear. People are here from mention, brother. Trust me. Is like over 200 people listening right now, and over I see I have over 14,000 views already. So people want to hear. You check? So where we at with you personally, as far as like, do you want to like get the band to back to the traveling, back to the ability to travel and stuff like that? Because people want to hear our out here, you know, New York, you know that for sure, Atlanta, things like that. Like what you think is a hold up as far as like obtaining work permits or stuff like that? Like
the problem was work permits. We went through some unfortunate situations with our work permits. This is something I never really put on record, but hey, on record, we were flagged for whatever reason. That's just how it is sometimes when, you know, business-wise, when business go bad between promoters, so to speak, and you know how those things go.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Basically, like we're back on the pole, so to speak.
Nice.
Before the pandemic, it was just basically the formalities in terms of sending certain information.
Nice.
So the
Nice.
sponsors done sending basically everything they need to send in, the taxes and everything and what's not.
Nice.
In the
Nice.
pandemic, so I can't really talk for when the pandemic finished. You know, there's a whole team going on up there right now in America. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the next thing added to it in terms of what the whole outcome gonna be. But yes, we were there.
Nice.
And for
Nice.
the
That's good
past
to
5
hear.
years, for the past 5 more than that, we've been trained what found out that we were flag.
Got you.
And we
Got
can't
you.
say that, but hey,
Yeah.
that's just people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we here still live in flesh.
Yeah,
We're
man.
still putting out music, we're still trying to touch audiences all over the world.
For sure.
I mean,
For sure.
one thing I must do is like, you know, big up all the sugar heads, big up all the sugar band fans, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
All
man.
the new vibes fans, like whether it's from back in the day till now, you know what I mean? Like continual support is heartwarming, you know what I mean? And it's the engine, so to speak, because even though it's a new set of faces in the band, like just having that embrace and all from the older band, even though they wasn't there. Let's wave out for that because they still continuously carrying on that name and that legacy. And it might be a different band, but in their minds, they respect the band apart so much. Remember these guys, these younger guys who came up listening to us
Yeah.
as youths
Yeah.
and admiring us, and now in the position now to take up that you know what I mean that opportunity. Big up LL, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big up Davey, big up Hollywood. But that this core musicians really like embrace the fact that where the band was, the legacy that the band had, they need to, you know what I mean, continue that. So it's not about they coming in and figure, hey, we're trying to prove to be a better version than the new ones before. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be a better version than myself. I'm trying to be myself all the time.
Got you.
You know what I mean? So,
Got you. So with the I know, like you said, all the members in the band pretty young. You feel like the pressure to be on them, or you feel like they handle the situation the best they could?
no man, them guys, they're well rounded too, man. Like my guitarist, you know, Devin, his brother, which is Kevin,
Yep.
farmer guitarist of Smilax.
Yes.
Their father was farmer bassman, Lennon, for Grandmasters, one of the founding members. So even before that, you know, they had that musical setting as well. You understand what I'm saying? So that seriousness of the music, I think that made him have to like bring it in there.
Got you.
I mean,
Got you.
Johnny, popular keyboardist over the years. He and Miller is brothers extended. So Miller come up on his vibe in terms of like learning keyboards and what's not on Johnny. So everybody had their own little personal settings coming into, you know what I mean? And each one of them always could go back at the time and say, but I remember when they smile and they listening eye. Yeah, there's something that might make me feel like it's 105 there.
I'm telling you.
I'll be like, guys, I'm still here. I'm still in the room.
telling you.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, man.
It's a warm embrace, you know what I mean?
You got a good crew, brother. When I hear them, man, you know, I know carry him for an extended amount of time. I know what he could do.
Yeah,
and I just want to big up Revy, brother. Like, yo, when I first hear that youth there, even prior to being Sugar Band, when I hear that youth, I say, yo, this man ya could play. You check? And you got a good crew, brother. You got a good crew. People need, you know, I'm glad I have the the places, the pieces in place to start moving around because you know how that is. Once you start traveling, they're gonna create even a bigger audience. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man.
So that's perfect. That's good to hear. So
Definitely, man.
yeah, man. So as far as carnival, no, what you foresee happening with this pandemic?
Mm. Everything is an unknown. Everything is
Mm,
unknown. I mean, we see like probably like the more opening up now, not the borders, but in terms of like business sectors. But my whole concern is um, we basically might have to follow the mandate of what's happening internationally in terms of the wider world.
mm,
Um, and I think according to how we set out there, it's going to be a trickle down effect. So it's really hard for me to say, exactly, what I think going to really happen based upon the pandemic. But
yeah.
I've already gotten some info from I think Carnival Committee in terms of the plans for road march. I think they sent out a date for registration.
Mm,
Um, they basically, if it's not the traditional carnival, obviously we'll have to do it virtually.
hmm.
So I don't know of the criteria for
That's
a virtual,
interesting.
but I
That's
know
interesting.
obviously no, it will be virtual just like how we do with virtual shows.
Mm,
Um, no quotes, no props, things of that nature. Like I said, I don't think that the criteria is put in place yet.
yeah.
I don't know. Just like I didn't know the criteria for last road match until 10 p.m. Christmas night.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow. That's crazy. Like and I know you still in the mix, so you might have to not answer in certain way or however you do decide to
mhm.
farm it up. But like, what you think about road march with all this or they compete? You have to see crowd participate, all that. I think that's nonsense. I don't know how you feel.
Mm, we just lose we win. It's like it feels like um okay, Sid, you look like you got potential. This look like it's feasible. Let me see how we could not make it feasible. Let's change the dynamics. So we just keep going back and forth, up and down, bouncing from wall to wall. Um, for me, one of the things that I like about this format, this new format, is it cut down the amount of times that you gotta be wrong and wrong. That used to really kill me, like to go wrong at the because you gotta understand in a road match, a band put out at least, let's say, 10 songs. Let's say he put out at least 4 songs that could play on the road. But then you got 6 judging points. Juve man, you got to miss these 6 judging points 4 times each. You know how much consistently you have to play that one competition piece for?
Exactly.
The patrons is nothing what they deserve because they play that one song too long.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
waters down the juve, it waters down the performance, it waters down the energy to hear that one song for such a long time.
Hmm.
Not only that, how are you gonna sell your other music if you're just playing that one song? How your other music gonna appeal to people if they
Hmm.
only hear that one song on the road?
Exactly.
Marketing again it kills you. So just got to play that one song.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was really heartwarming to me. Like, hey, you could just do it at that one judging point and get rid of it, and the rest of the hours you could incorporate the other songs from your album. In
Gotcha.
our case, from our gay album. we think different. We think different. We think different.
The album. I like
You know
it.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. You could incorporate a lot more music and a lot of songs from what other people want you to. And
Mm,
it make it a more fun for the juve because it's more variety. You know what I mean?
mm,
Over the couple of hours. But to hear that one song all the time, sometimes you could really. Sometimes I sing in the song and I'll be like, even though I know his word, man, like, that again?
And it's your thing.
Your thing, but I mean, just like anything, too much can be, I mean, too much can just be too much. So, like that, if that's one of the thing, the positives them I could say, like to come and showcase it there, where you could just do it that one time and get judged, and then have that them other always know where you could play all your other music and incorporate, you know what I mean, other songs into the whole Juve experience. You know what I mean, because they might have other people like that song. Because let me show you a little thing. A word might song might be good for its concept in terms of the concept behind it. But then I might just got the next song what the concept ain't really as story with, but the joy behind it better for the word. Two experiences what they experienced in Trinidad recently with Savannah Grass and Mr. Killer Sound.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Well, sorry, not Mr. Killer Sound, but
Iowa.
No, I'm talking about the road match before with Marshall and Bungie and
Got you. Yeah. Family or whatever.
Family. So you're finding that a lot of people were saying traditionally because Savannah Grass, the history of carnival and Savannah Grass, and you saw in the video how they embrace that history of the carnival being done there, that same place for over the years. What a lot of people was arguing is that the concept behind Savannah Grass was more for a road match because it contained more carnival essence and what Savannah Grass meant to the whole carnival. For other people now, the concept was all right, but he had that family joy. You understand what I'm saying? So for the same thing, you might have fans where they like one of your songs then because of the concept, but they prefer the next one because of the joy. So in all fairness, in order to satisfy a larger part of your fan base is to be able to incorporate all of your music instead of this one road map song beating for 6 hours.
Got you. Yeah. You do you think part of the fact that I haven't been capturing road matches that I either get punished for the large crowd I either have?
I think it's the other way around. I think it's the fact that we don't get road match is what has punished them with all the crowd that we have.
I got you.
Maybe if they want to see the band as a big crowd, what they might probably got to do is just do the right thing.
I feel you. If
the more they do the wrong thing, is the more the fan base go. And
respect.
It's evident. You know
respect. Yeah. A crowd will be sick, brother. And I watch him from here, but that crowd will be crazy, brother. Crazy. So as far as album stuff right now, you working on an album right now, or you pause for now?
Just working on some jingles. Okay. Just finished. Now we already started like before the pandemic, like planning out certain material for this year's carnival. Well, potentially. Like if you realize from last year, we didn't do the amount of songs that we would normally do. Like 10 songs. We really cut down to 5 songs. Like I explained earlier, like this is the age now where music don't really sell like how we would sell back in the day.
Got you.
So you got cut back because there's a cost to everything. And carnival is 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Let's say 3 weeks the most in terms of leading up to and to the end. Let's say 3 weeks. I mean, it's even preferable now because of the fact there's so much bands. Once ago, it used to be maybe 3 bands. You see, you got a lot of younger bands coming out now. Before that, we had a soca monarch. So different from the Calypso competition now, there's a soca monarch now. So the airwaves now is more clogged than before. But when you bring out 10 songs in 3 weeks, with so much of music out, there's no way your 10 songs gonna play in that frame of
Got you,
time
got you,
because
got
they
you.
got share the areas with so much artists now. Like I said before, they had a soca monarch. We had all the music to be played is just bands and calypsonians. They got bands, calypsonians, soca monarch, and now the artistry now in think it is getting bigger now. We got
Big, yeah.
artists which is not directly in any band, but solo artists. You
Got
have
you.
to pay way for them in terms of playing time too. So you got to cut back on the amount of music you do for a seasonal gig in terms of carnival. So we only did 5 tracks. Um, but we had tracks from last year that we done start to basically expound on for this year. You know what I mean? So right now, working on a track. Hopefully it should be out maybe in the next month and a half.
Nice. Nice and early. I like to hear that.
Yeah, next
Yeah.
month and a half. It could be before that, but I'll give you that extended time just because of the pandemic and sometimes you can't move how you want at the times you want to. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Got you, got you. Yeah. That's one of the things I was going to touch on too, brother, is the like I think we don't only make song for carnival, which I understand this year because of the pandemic, but in general I think we small island bands need to get out of that one carnival thing. And many people touch on it. I interview like, do you see that effective? That could be effective to make, say, like you're doing 3, 4 songs. Say we do it for April, hit a few carnival, and then you do your Christmas, November album
So
for
that's
carnival.
yeah, so that's basically what we plan to do. Like
Okay.
just like how we see we did the St. Thomas album, like, that's basically like what we plan to do. Like say for this year St. Thomas was coming up. Like this song would have been for St. Thomas. It's
Got
just
you.
because of the pandemic we kind of fall back on it because no carnival going on.
Got you.
So
Got you. Got you.
what we
Got
plan
you.
to do is like touch Anguilla Carnival with a single, St. Thomas Carnival with a single. And then at the end now, when it's your carnival in December now, you do maybe 3 songs and compile all and create an album from that still. You know what I mean?
Nice.
It's less work, you understand what I'm saying? And you know what I mean?
I like that idea, man. Touch all of them because
Not only that, like I said, that was the problem first because we make music just for December alone, and then we want to use we local carnival album and try to use it all through the year to go to every carnival and Willow all the way down in August. Your songs then done basically exhausted from all the way December. You know what I mean? So
got you,
it's
got
good.
you.
So something to got new material, even if it's just a single.
Yeah,
You
man.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So like we did like a couple years ago, when I released a track early for Nevis.
If you
You know what I
neighbors,
mean?
yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's a good road, brother. That's a good road. I like that idea. So how you feel about these young producers, man? I see you work with Stickle. I see you work with Rain Man in St. Thomas. I see you working with these young producers. How you feel in their music, the musical ideas and stuff?
Yeah, man, that man musically grounded too. Stickle Father's original.
Yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean? Remember
Yeah,
from
man.
Smilax, so he grounded musically all the time.
Yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean? But
Yeah.
hey, I don't really find too much different. I can tell you what, I got open mind.
Mm.
And having an open mind is where I think are still in the music today and still might be relevant despite the amount of years.
Not might. You're relevant, brother.
You know what I mean? But I mean, if you don't have an open mind,
Mm.
sometimes you stick to what you know and what you embrace alone. And if you can't embrace something else
Mm-hmm.
outside of your element or learn about it, it's like you're stuck in your game. And
Got
sometimes
you.
I think that's where the music that's gonna lead certain people.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? I
Yes.
don't think I've allowed it to happen to me
Yeah, man.
so far. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
man. No.
So
Yeah, man.
like I embrace all the producers, young, old, in between. If you got a musical idea,
Mm.
let's roll with it. Like
Respect.
once it's a positive vibe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So, so right now, as far as like the music in Saint Kitts on a whole, like you know, what you hearing on the radio in comparison to what being produced in St. Kitts? What you think St. Kitts music, has it evolved? Has it gotten better, or what?
Yeah, I'll say definitely it's gotten better. I don't think that, like, I'd say like some of the artists and the bandmen today, like, they're still even in a better position than we were. You know what I mean? The things that they're being exposed to,
Mm-hmm.
we probably wasn't exposed to at an earlier in our careers.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So I think it's a good thing. I mean, we're in the computer age too.
Mm.
So you find like they're going in this age, you know what I mean?
Yep.
They're
Yep.
about this age. So I mean, you gotta get jacket. I mean, like the youths them, they're going out. I mean, boy and Messiah do anything, you know what I mean? They should be still doing anything. You know what I mean? I'm a sensation, you don't know.
Yeah.
Colin Wyatt, you know, all them guys, you know, a lot of artists out here really trying the best. The sound especially is getting better in terms of recording.
Recording, no doubt. No doubt.
You know.
The recording aspect is
Yeah.
creeping up to professional level for real. For real.
A lot of them guys who like magician and all them guys who do more the traditional dance hall.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you listen to them, man, compared to like what's out there, you know, it's not far. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
So you got to big up them, man, every time.
Yeah, man,
it's growing, especially the dancehall thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's love dancehall back in the day still, but the dancehall thing, like really growing.
Yeah, I see you did a song with Dijon too. That was a dope song. Dope.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, man. So like I know like you've been in this thing for what 30 years or more. So like I know this might be a weird question, but still I gonna ask. Like how we feel like when you hear somebody, even if you just passing by your house, people singing a song whether you write word for word. Does it still like give you a feeling?
Yeah. You can understand still like for somebody to really like listen your song and learn it. It mean that they embrace it heartily. Nobody gonna be so interested in something unless they got passion for it or something that they really like.
True.
You know what I mean? So I mean, like, of course, when you hear people singing your music, it's a great feeling because I mean, that person took the time out to listen to your experience, listen to somebody experiences through your voice.
Got you.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I remember music is a message, so we always sending a message.
Sending a message, yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when people listen, it's always good.
Yeah, man. It's funny though because you is one of them writers and singers that if you ain't know your songs, something wrong with you because like you say, you don't walk off a rhythm per se. You don't walk off a lyrics. So as soon as you know a mention song, you know the lyrics because that's part of the package. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Yeah, so as for, you know, like I said, man, I appreciate your time, brother. It's just crazy. Soapy Dan, what you say? Big up mention, man.
Soapy day, man. Soapy day.
I take it all this year and all the ideas too, you know, because some things I didn't know about, I learn now, you know.
Yeah, man.
Respect.
Yeah, man. Just big up the fans then because you got a ton load of people here, so let's big them up one time.
You don't know all the Facebook followers. You don't know live and lively, Mr. Mention. You don't know live and lively Chatterbox. Big up Sid.
Big up, brother.
Big up Soapy. Big up Kwame. Big up the whole crew. And you know what I mean. We like what's going on here, and we hope that it continues still. You know what I mean.
Yeah,
be able to hear a little bit more about the background of artists. You know what I mean. Not only from St. Kitts but in the Caribbean.
Yes.
You know what I mean. And I think it's a good platform.
Thank you,
platform.
So
big up all the fans them. Thanks for following the feed. You know what I mean? That's why I wish everybody a great Sunday. Be safe in this COVID-19 time. Take care of yourself, take care of your family.
For sure.
Most in all of this. Prayer. Meaningful prayer is important. You know what I mean? So I say everybody be safe. God bless.
Yes. Big up mention. Love and respect, brother.
All the well thing.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah.